everyone, it's LJ here. Welcome back to another video. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to do a quick therapy sort of update as my NHS therapy is over. So I thought I would do a quick update, and I am struggling today, so I am in bed. I do apologise. I have sort of got out of bed, but I am on the bed today. Right, so where to start? I've had numerous therapies throughout my life. I've done CBT, I've done talking therapies, I've done like a tiny bit of DBT. Majority of the time I've been talking therapies. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, when life is going well, that's when my mind decides that it's going to jump me. And there are, hey baby, come on. There are a number of times this has happened during my life. And then in 2018, 2019, start of 2020, I had all the problems with my shoulders and my hips and the lupus diagnosis and everything else. And it all sort of came up at once, and unfortunately, because I was reliant on somebody else, all of my mental health stuff came up for a different reason. This wasn't a, yeah, everything is great, let's overthrow you. This is, everything is shit, here's some more shit. So, yeah, I was quite dependent on other people for a while. I couldn't, brush and wash my hair, getting dressed I needed support with. It was an absolute nightmare. And although I still need some help, it's not as bad as it was. So, September 2020, I'd been in lockdown, we'd been in quarantine, I wasn't allowed to leave my house because I was extremely clinically vulnerable. So I was going back to work in September, and I could feel that I was not comfortable. I was having panic attacks, I was really struggling. So I referred myself for talking therapies through my local NHS borough. I got the initial consultation in December 2020. I was like, okay, do you know what, that's really, really quick, excellent. And they said, yeah, we think we're a fit for you, this is what we think, we will sort it out. There's a 9-month waiting list. And I'm like, brilliant, okay, that's great. So that's December 2020. And then throughout 2021, things were going and not going, and I found out about stuff about my hip and the arthritis and the all the other bits and pieces. And I kind of almost forgot that I'd referred myself for therapy, and then tested positive for COVID for the 4th time, New Year's Eve 2021. January 2022, I lost my nan, and I've spoken before about how close we were and how much she meant to me and how hard it was to lose her. And then I started chasing up therapy again because I was feeling like I was really struggling. Like, right, don't headbutt the... Come here. Come on. No, don't headbutt the camera stand. Margaret. Margaret is loving the camera stand. Come here. No, she's going to knock it the other way. Oh, kitten, at least you can make me smile. I really hope I'm still in frame. Where did I get to? I don't know. My nan... Yes. So after my nan died, I really struggled with that mentally. Plus I developed long COVID and I was sleeping like 22 hours a day. So I didn't really bother chasing anything. And then things started to come around, and then I was planning for life events and things, and then all of a sudden I got a message going, hey, we're ready to offer you therapy. So September 2022 was when I started therapy. I had a really lovely guy who was supportive. We've worked through a lot of things. We've done a lot of work. We've done a lot of work on grounding, on creating a safe space, on differentiating between like the inner child and... Come here then, don't just look at me. The other entities, shall we say? Come here. the other entities in my head. So as I've mentioned in quite a lot of videos, I have this voice in my head that is constantly negative, constantly berates me. Leave the camera stand alone. Come here. Come here. Alright, don't. Leave the camera stand alone, please. So yeah, this voice is constantly negative, constantly telling me negative things about myself. And so we worked on differentiating that and trying to do things to counteract it and stuff. So yeah. And then sort of we came to the end and we made a little bit of a plan of how things would go. And basically he suggested moving forward that I should do some more therapies, but that they wouldn't be NHS. So that's sort of where we're at the moment. And I can honestly say that although I don't think this therapy was life-changing, it has definitely helped me with certain skills. So things like having my safe space, which is sort of like an internal visualization meditation, which is quite interesting. I've got my grounding bag, which is amazing.
So we created my grounding bag with just a number of things in. So I have a poppet, I have a fidget cube, I've got some essential oils, one that I really like and one that I dislike to trigger different feelings. We've got like a heat mat bag thing that you put in the microwave so it's soft and it's heating, and there is a tangle, which is just one of my all-time favourite fidgets, and this really helps me. You can obviously personalise it to what works for you.
And I find that kit really helpful because depending on what the problem is, there are different elements to help. Now don't get me wrong, it doesn't always work. I still have a habit of going 0 to 60, and if something happens that takes me there is no intervention, and that's where I'm still having problems. However, I'm starting to recognise feelings and emotions and sensations earlier. So there's sometimes a slower rise, and if that happens, then I can often interject with my grounding kit, with some of the resources, with some of the strategies that we've talked about. But obviously when it goes super quick, that's when I still really struggle. But you know, I felt we did well. Again, I've learnt quite a lot of stuff. We tried to do some chair work, which, if you've never been in therapy, is where you essentially are sitting facing an empty chair, and in that chair you are talking to somebody, be it a parent, a partner, a teacher, a boss, a child, you know, your inner child, which I had to do quite a lot, things like that. And I really struggled with that. It just felt so weird to me, because I know how to give a child love and support. I know that, I'm a teacher, it's like part of my job. I just couldn't do it. It felt so awkward. So then we tried a different way, and we tried confronting the negative voice that's in my head. And that was better, but I wasn't particularly good at it. The worst one was when he said, I want you to say the things that you say to yourself to that chair, and I can't. I can quite easily sit here and go, I am a waste of oxygen, I am completely useless, I am a failure. I cannot say that sentence with the word you on the front. I cannot say, are a failure, or a waste of oxygen. I can't put you on the start of that sentence, because I would never think that or say that about another person. So why can I do it to myself? This is sort of one of my biggest issues. Another big issue is ruminating and thought spiralling and catastrophizing, which I do a lot. And that I'm still really struggling with any strategies for, because again, I have a strategy that works really well that is not good. And I know it's not good, and I don't want to be doing that, but it helps. And one of the things he said to me on my penultimate session was, that is essentially your heroin. It will always be there, and it will always work. So you will always go back to it. You have to find a way to not go back to it. And I'm like, yeah, I completely agree. But yeah, as I say, we worked on quite a lot of things. And then we were talking about where I go next, and he did apologise at the end. He said, I don't know whether I did right by you or whether I failed you. And I'm thinking, And he said originally we were going to do a lot of stuff on your time jumps, your losing time, your 0 to 60, all of this stuff. And I feel like a lot of the times we push that aside to deal with your more current problems, because, as mentioned in a video, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I can't really talk about because they involve other people and it's not my place. And then I've got all the stuff more recently with Magrat being unwell, and you know, there's just so much going on. So it's been a bit like, so he and I actually did quite a lot more work. We did do work on this sort of stuff. We also did a lot of talking about current situations and talking through things and expectations and what have you. And you know, one of the things that I feel that I really did learn, I did not realise, is why I made certain decisions. And I feel that how to word this. Had I had this therapy prior to making this decision, I wouldn't have made this decision, because I made this decision based on the fact that the situation lacked something I didn't want, but I need. So, for example, just to give you a random thing, I'm on a diet and I need energy, right? So I'm going to be doing some exercise, so I need extra energy in my diet to fuel that exercise. I could eat fruit. Fruit would be perfect. Fruit would be good for me. Fruit would also give me the nutrients to not just fuel this exercise, but to fuel my body, to heal my body, to support my body, okay? But rather than choosing the fruit, I chose the chocolate, because the chocolate will give me that energy so that I can exercise, but it means I don't have to think further ahead. I don't have to think about sorting out and reflecting on my body. I just want the instant, this is what I need right now, it doesn't matter what I need in the long term. And then you're in a situation where you're not eating any fruit at all, you're just eating chocolate, and it gets really bad for you. That's kind of like the best way I can explain this whole thing without actually talking about what it is. That was a terrible analogy, but I'm hoping you understand what I mean. Anyway. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. We've had our last session. We're going to have one catch-up session in a couple of weeks to recap. And so, as I say, I spoke to him a lot about where to go next. His response was EMDR or DBT. Now, I've tried both of those through the NHS, and it's either a ridiculously long waiting list or it isn't available. I have now spoken to 7 different therapists, 2 in America, 5 in the UK, and I have managed to find an EMDR therapist that I think I'm going to be happy with. So this therapist is the only person who confirmed one of my fears. So I've done research, and obviously doing EMDR is a trauma-based therapy, and I will do another video on that. But you're exploring trauma, so it's going to bring up a lot of feelings and emotions, and I'm already struggling with feelings and emotions at the moment, which is why I have unhealthy coping strategies. And every other person I spoke to said, oh no, that's fine, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. This therapist turned around and she said, I'm really worried that you are doing this because we're going to explore a lot of trauma. So before we start doing the actual EMDR, we are going to do some other groundwork to make sure you are in the right place. And I was like, do you know what, you're the first and only person who's mentioned that. And I don't know if the others just washed it over because they were just like, hey, just pay me whatever. Could be this lady wants to get more sessions out of me because she wants me to pay more. But I feel like she actually understood my situation a lot more. So I will soon be starting EMDR. Once I've got a couple of those under the belt and I can give you some more information about how it's going, I will update you. But that's where I am with therapy currently. So we've gone from September 2022 to middle of April 2023 was my talking therapies through the local borough, and it wasn't a magical fix. I do feel like I've learnt things though, and that is good. I don't think it's dealt with my core problems, but as I've mentioned before, I know what my problems are. I can sit here and objectively explain every single thing that I do and think and why. I know exactly why, and this is the problem. I've worked through all of the stuff that I know about in many therapies, but I'm still not functioning like I should be. So I don't know if there are repressed memories, if there are memories that I haven't fully worked through and I just think I have, but I'm hoping that's what EMDR will bring to light. So yeah. Obviously, if you have any questions, please put them down below. I'm happy to discuss things. And yeah, I mean, have you had therapy? Do you like therapy? Let me know what you think, because yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? As I said, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Loopy love.